The constant beeping of the machines was the only thing keeping me company. I woke up with my mouth as dry as the Nevada desert and a sharp pain in my abdomen that reminded me I was still alive. The white hospital lights blinded me, but not as much as the tears I refused to shed. My name is Catherine Hope. I am 67 years old, and I just came out of emergency surgery that could have killed me. Do you know what the first thing a mother does when she wakes up from an operation? She looks around for her children. Her eyes scan the room, hoping to find those faces she gave birth to in pain, fed with love, and raised with sacrifice. But I only found empty walls and a blue plastic chair that no one had warmed with their presence. The nurse, a young girl with tired but kind eyes, came in to check my vitals. "How are you feeling, Mrs. Hope?" she asked me while adjusting the IV drip. I wanted to tell her I felt like a dog abandoned on the highway, but I just nodded. "Is anyone coming for you? Should we call your family?" Her family. What heavy words when you have 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and none of them have appeared in the last 6 hours since I went into the operating room, I told everyone. I sent messages. I made calls while I was twisting in pain, waiting for the ambulance. Richard answered me with a heart emoji. Lauren texted me on my way, "Mom." Peter did not even read the message. "Do not worry, honey," I told the nurse. "I am sure they are on their way." A lie, the most pathetic lie I have told in my life, because even she knew that no one was coming. I saw it in her eyes, that mixture of pity and understanding that only those who have seen too many hospital beds with lonely old ladies like me possess. They had operated on me urgently for an intestinal obstruction. The pain had started 3 days earlier, but I, stubborn as I am, held on because I did not want to bother my children. Richard had an important board meeting. Lauren was on a trip with her friends. Peter. Well, Peter never answers when I need something, only when he needs something. There in that hospital bed that smelled of disinfectant and loneliness, I started doing the math. Not of money of that, I have enough thanks to the hotels I built with my own hands since I was widowed 20 years ago, but of moments. How many times had I been in a hospital accompanying one of them? When Richard broke his leg skiing in Vail, I was there for 3 weeks. When Lauren had each of her 3 children, I slept in those uncomfortable maternity armchairs. When Peter got food poisoning in Vegas for partying too hard, I drove 8 hours to be with him. I was always there, always. The clock on the wall showed 3 in the afternoon. Outside, I heard the murmur of other rooms where families were visiting their sick relatives. Laughter, conversations, the crying of a child life. In my room, there was only silence and the damn beeping of the machines, confirming that my heart was still beating, although sometimes I wondered what for. My phone vibrated. For a second, my heart skipped a beat. Was it Lauren asking how I was? Richard apologizing for not arriving? No. It was a notification from the bank, another automatic charge from Lauren's additional card at Saks Fifth Avenue. $3,000. While her mother was connected to machines, she was buying handbags. The irony hit me like a slap in the face. Me, Catherine Hope, the one who made it out of the slums of the South Bronx, selling hot dogs with my mother, the one who built a hotel empire from scratch, the one who signed checks for Ivy League colleges, dream weddings, and infinite whims. I was alone like a dog in a public hospital I came to, because it was the closest one when the attack hit me. I closed my eyes and allowed myself for the first time in years to feel the real weight of my loneliness. Not the loneliness of living alone in my house in the hills, that one I chose, but the loneliness of knowing that for my children, I am not Catherine, their mother. I am Catherine, the ATM, Catherine, the one who always says yes, Catherine, the fool who still believes that love can be bought with bills. A pain different from the surgery began to grow in my chest. It was the pain of waking up, of opening my eyes after 67 years and seeing the naked and cruel truth. It was 5:30 in the afternoon when I heard footsteps approaching my room. My heart, that fool that never learns, raced with hope. I recognized the sound of those Italian loafers that I bought him myself for his 40th birthday. Richard, my firstborn, my pride. He walked in like he walks everywhere in a hurry, looking at his cell phone, his impeccable Armani suit slightly wrinkled from the workday. He did not even look me in the eyes when he said, "Hi, Mom. How are you holding up?" How am I holding up? I wanted to scream at him. I just got out of a surgery where my intestine could have been perforated, where I could have died on the operating table. And you ask me, how are you holding up, as if I had the flu, but I said nothing. I just smiled, that automatic motherly smile that forgives everything. Better son. Thanks for coming. He sat in the blue chair, but he did not put down the phone. His fingers kept typing while he spoke. That is good, Mom. Listen, I could not come sooner. You know work. A lie. I saw on his Instagram that he was at the country club playing golf until 2 in the afternoon, but I nodded as always. He did not ask what the doctor had said. He did not ask if I was in pain. He did not ask if I was scared. He just sat there 5 minutes, maybe scrolling on his cell phone, while I looked at him like the idiot in love with her children that I am. And then the moment arrived. That moment that I, in the depths of my soul, knew would come, but refused to accept. Mom, the thing is, there it was. Richard's "the thing is." The same tone he used since he was a child when he wanted to convince me of something. An incredible opportunity came up. Incredible. It is a business deal in Dubai, Mom. Technology importation. The return on investment is 300% in 6 months. Dubai. While I was vomiting bile before surgery, he was thinking about Dubai. It is just that, Mom, I need to act fast. If I do not get in right now, I lose the opportunity. It is $50,000, Mom. Nothing for you. It is like buying one of those handbags that Lauren likes so much. But this is an investment. $50,000. He said it just like that, as if it were $50. As if he did not know that every dollar I have I earned by waking up at 4 in the morning for 30 years, negotiating with suppliers, putting up with rude guests, building my empire brick by brick, while he grew up in private schools without knowing what it was like to go hungry. Richard. I started to say, but he interrupted me. It is not for me, Mom. It is for us, for the family. Think about your grandchildren. With the profits, I will be able to pay for a better college, give them a better life. You always say that everything is for the family, right? There it was. The master manipulation, using my own words, my own love as a weapon against me, my grandchildren. Those children I see twice a year because their dad is too busy doing business deals that never work with my money. And what does Danielle say? I asked about his wife. Oh, Mom, you know how she is. She does not understand business. That is why I need your support. You do understand. You built all this from nothing. You are my inspiration. My inspiration. I almost laughed, but the surgical wound prevented me. His inspiration. If he does not even know how to make a hotel reservation, if he has never worked a real day in his life, if every business he has attempted I have had to rescue, the travel agency that went bankrupt, the restaurant that closed in 3 months, the construction company that never built anything, the silence stretched between us, he waiting for my answer, me processing the pain, not the physical pain of the operation, but the pain of confirming what deep down I always knew. He did not come to see me, he came to see his wallet. Look, Mom. He continued when he saw I was not responding. I know it is a bad time, but it is really urgent. The guy is leaving the day after tomorrow and I need to give him the down payment. You trust me, right, trust? What a worn-out word in his mouth. What a prostituted word when he uses it. My phone rang. It was Lauren. Richard did not even let me answer. It is probably Lauren asking you for something. You know how she is. I at least come with business with a future. She just spends and spends. The hypocrisy gave me nausea. Or maybe it was the anesthesia. I no longer knew what was turning my stomach more. I need to think about it, son. His face changed. That expression of a spoiled child when he does not get what he wants immediately. Think about what, Mom. Do you not trust me, your own son, after everything I have done? Everything you have done, I wanted to ask him. What exactly have you done besides bleeding me dry financially for 43 years? He stood up abruptly. Well, Mom, think about it. But fast. Opportunities like this do not come every day. And here, I thought my mother would support me. After I came running to the hospital, leaving everything behind. A lie. Another lie for the collection. But this time, something inside me broke. Or maybe it fixed itself. Like when a poorly healed bone is broken so it can heal correctly. Richard left, slamming the door, and it echoed in my head like a hammer. I was left alone again. But this time, the silence was different. It was a silence that screamed truths. I closed my eyes, and the memories started arriving like waves at high tide, one after another, relentless. Each one more painful than the last. The first time Richard asked me for money seriously, he was 23 years old. He had just graduated from college, $200,000 for 4 years that I paid by selling my first plot of land, and he wanted to open his own architecture firm. Mom, it is my dream, he told me with those eyes he inherited from his father. $100,000. I gave it to him. The firm lasted 8 months. He never had a single real client. The only projects he did were renovations in my hotels that I invented for him so he would not feel like a failure. Then came Lauren, my princess, the one who was going to be a doctor, then a lawyer, then a designer, then nothing. Every abandoned degree cost me a fortune. It is just not my passion. Mom, she would say every time she left another university. Her passion, I discovered later, was marrying rich men and spending money. 3 weddings I have paid for. 3. The first in Hawaii, $50,000 for 200 guests. She got divorced in 6 months. The second in Aspen, more modest, only $30,000. It lasted a year. The third was in Napa Valley, $120,000 so my daughter could play princess for the 3rd time. That marriage is going on its 4th year, but 2 months ago she asked me for money for the divorce because Andrew is stingy. And Peter, my baby, the one who has broken my heart the most. Peter, with his addiction to the casino that he hid from me for years, until the debt collectors arrived at my house. Until I found out that he had pawned his dead father's Rolex, the only keepsake I had left of my husband. $50,000 in gambling debts that I paid so they would not break his legs. He promised not to bet again. A lie. 6 months later, another $30,000. A year later, $70,000. The last time 3 months ago, $100,000. It is the last time, Mom, I swear on my children. His children that he barely knows because he spends more time in the casino than in his house. I opened my eyes and looked at the stained ceiling of the hospital. I started doing the math. I did not want to, but my brain could not stop. Private schools for the 3 of them, $400,000. Universities, $300,000. Lauren's weddings, $200,000. Peter's debts, $300,000. Richard's failed businesses, $500,000. Trips, cars, whims, countless. Almost $2 million, $2 million. And what did I receive in exchange? I am not talking about money. I never expected them to pay me back a dime. I am talking about love, about consideration, about a, "How are you, Mom?" without it being followed by a, "I need." I remembered the day of my 60th birthday. I hosted a dinner at my house. I hired a band, the ones I like. I cooked for 3 days the special roast they loved as children. I bought the good wine. I decorated everything with flowers because it was October. Richard arrived 2 hours late, had 3 drinks, and left because he had an early meeting. Lauren sent her children with the nanny. She did not even show up. Oh, Mom, I had a spa day. I already had the appointment for months. Peter arrived drunk, got into a fight with his brother, and threw up in my guest bathroom. The band played for me alone. I sat in my garden in my new dress that no one noticed and sang sad songs while I cried. The band professional, as they are, kept playing as if they did not see my tears. But the memory that hurts me the most, the one that pierces my soul like a rusty knife, was when I was diagnosed with prediabetes 2 years ago. The doctor told me I needed to change my life exercise, eat better, reduce stress. I called all 3 of them scared. "Oh, Mom, do not exaggerate. All old people have diabetes," Richard said. "Well, go on a diet, right?" That was Lauren's advice. Peter did not even answer the call. I found out later that day he was in Vegas. None of them accompanied me to the following appointments. None of them asked about my exams. None of them noticed that I lost 40 pounds alone, walking alone every morning through the park, cooking my special meals alone. A tear rolled down my cheek, then another and another. I could not stop. 40 years of contained tears came out all at once. The nurse came in to check my signs and found me sobbing like a little girl. "Does it hurt a lot, ma'am? Should I call the doctor?" "Yes, it hurts," I wanted to tell her. But it is not a pain that any doctor can cure. It is the pain of realizing that I raised emotional vampires, that my motherly love was their ATM, that I confused love with enabling, that in my eagerness to give them everything, I did not give them the only important thing, the capacity to value. My cell phone vibrated. Message from Lauren, "Mom, urgent. I need $30,000 for the kids' tuition. If I do not pay tomorrow, they are kicking them out of school. Please, Mom, do not fail me. Do not fail me. I did not fail her." Something inside me at that exact moment changed forever. I had not finished reading Lauren's message when my phone started ringing with the video call melody. It was her, my daughter, the one I gave birth to with 36 hours of labor, the one who almost killed me at birth because she was breached, the one I swore to protect until my last breath. I dried my tears quickly. A mother does not cry in front of her children, even if her children are the reason for her tears. I adjusted my gray hair that already needed dye a little and answered, "Oh, Mom." Her face appeared on the screen perfectly made up, the freshly applied Botox that I paid for last month shining on her immobile forehead. She was in what looked like a luxurious restaurant. I managed to see glasses of champagne and white tablecloths. "Why were you not answering me?" "You had me worried." Well, I had been fasting since yesterday with a tube in my nose and connected to machines she was drinking. Dom Perignon at the country club worried. I am in the hospital, my daughter. I told you in the message. I had emergency surgery. Oh, yeah, I know. Richard told me. Good thing you are already better. Listen, Mom, I need to talk to you about something super important. She did not even ask what I was operated on for, nor how I felt, nor if I needed anything. Nothing. Straight to the point as always. The thing is, Mom. There it was again. The thing is. It must be genetic. I found the perfect penthouse downtown. It is a unique opportunity, Mom. It has a terrace with a jacuzzi, 3 bedrooms, a view of the park. It is just that if you saw how Marcella lives, Andrew's partner's wife. They have an apartment that, oh, Mom, it gives me embarrassment to even take the girls to play with her daughters. Embarrassment. My daughter, who lives in a 4,000 square foot house in the hills, which I gave her when she got married the 3rd time, has embarrassment. Lauren, I am in the hospital. I know, Mom. I know. That is exactly why. It is really quick. Look, I am sending you the photos. Look at this kitchen. It is Italian, Mom. Italian like in the magazines. I saw her face through the screen while she scrolled on another phone to send me the photos. Not once did she really look at me. Not once did she see the dark circles I have, the IV connected to my arm, the paleness of my face. To her, I was just a voice on the other side that says yes to everything. It is $2 million, Mom, but it is an investment. Real estate downtown always goes up. You know better than anyone. $2 million. She said it like someone asking for $2 for the bus. My daughter, who has never worked a day in her life, who does not know what it costs to earn $1, wanted $2 million so as not to feel embarrassment in front of Marcella. And Andrew, what does he say I asked about her husband? The supposed successful businessman. Oh, Mom, you know how men are. They want to control everything. He says it is not the time, that the economy is unstable. Pure excuses. That is why I need you to support me. Us women understand each other, right? Us women. As if she knew what it is to be a real woman. Getting up to make sandwiches by hand to sell. Enduring the hands of disgusting old men when I was a waitress because I needed the tips. Sleeping 3 hours a day to get the hotels off the ground while raising 3 children alone. Besides Mom, she continued without letting me speak. Think about your granddaughters. They deserve the best, right? The penthouse is in the best area close to the best schools. Everything for them, Mom. You always say that everything is for the family. Again, using my granddaughters as emotional hostages. Those girls I see once a month if I am lucky, who do not even know what my hotel is called, who call me Mrs. Hope because their mother never taught them to call me Grandma. Look, Mom, I know right now you are there in your situation, but this cannot wait. There are 3 other interested parties. If we do not give the down payment this week, we lose it. My situation. That is what she called my emergency surgery. My situation. On the screen, I saw someone approaching her. A waiter with more glasses of champagne. Another glass, Mrs. Hope, he asked. Hope she uses my last name when it suits her. When she needs reservations, when she needs credit, when she needs respect, she has not earned. Oh, Mom, I am at a charity luncheon. You know you have to help the needy. I almost choked on my own saliva. Charity luncheon. Drinking $300 a bottle champagne while her mother is in a public hospital. Lauren, I need to rest. No, Mom, wait. It is really urgent. Tomorrow I have to give an answer. Please, Mom, I never ask you for anything. She never asks me for anything. Last month, it was $30,000 for her fertility treatment, the 3rd one I pay for. 2 months ago, $20,000 to renovate her walk-in closet. 3 months ago, $50,000 for the vacation in Mykonos. She never asks me for anything. Besides, Richard already went to see you, right? Surely he already asked you for another one of his stupid things. I at least ask for something real, something tangible. An asset, Mom, not like my brother's ghost businesses. There it was. The competition between siblings to see who squeezes me more. Like vultures fighting over the carrion, only the carrion is still breathing. I saw my reflection in the black screen of the turned-off television. A 67-year-old woman just out of surgery alone, being pressured by her daughter to buy a penthouse while connected to an IV. If it were not my life, it would be a tragicomedy. I am going to think about it, Lauren. Her face changed instantly. The Botox could not hide her annoyance. Think, what is there to think about, Mom? Do you not trust me anymore? Do you prefer Richard? You have always preferred him for being a man typical of your generation. The low blow, accusing me of being sexist when I was the one who paid for all the degrees she abandoned, who supported her in her divorces, who never told her to get a job. It is not that, Lauren. Then what, you do not love me anymore? Is that why you did not come to my charity event last month? Everyone asked about you. I looked like a fool saying you were sick. I was sick, literally. But for her, it was just an excuse that made her look bad. The pain in my abdomen intensified. I do not know if it was the surgery or the conversation. Lauren, I have to go. The nurse is coming to give me medicine. Medicine, sure. Everything is more important than your daughter. But when you die, you are going to see who really loved you. Not Richard with his fake businesses. Me who only wants a better future for my daughters. Your granddaughters. Mom. But it is fine. Think about it. Meanwhile, me here humiliated, living like a pauper, while Marcella, I hung up. For the first time in my life, I hung up on my daughter. The silence that followed was deafening, but it was also liberating. Like when you take off shoes that have been hurting you all day, and finally you can breathe. My phone started ringing immediately. Lauren calling again. I did not answer. Message after message started arriving. I did not read them. Something was being born inside me. Or maybe something was dying. Catherine, the enabler. Catherine, the ATM. Catherine, the idiot who confused love with servitude. The nurse came in with my medicine. Are you okay, ma'am? I heard you speaking loudly. I am perfect, honey. For the first time in a long time, I am perfect. But Peter was still missing my baby. the one who would hurt me the most, and as if the universe were listening to me, my phone rang with his special ringtone. Peter never calls. Never. He only sends WhatsApp messages when he needs money, usually at 3 in the morning when he is drunk or when he owes something at the casino. But there was his name on my screen calling me. Mom. His voice sounded strange, nervous. Are you okay? Richard told me you were in the hospital. For a second, my stupid mother's heart filled with hope. Could it be that Peter, my baby, the most lost of the three, finally, yes, son. I am fine. They operated on me, but I am already better. Oh, that is good, that is good. Listen, Mom, I need to talk to you about something very serious. There, my hope died. It lasted exactly 4 seconds. It is just that I got into a problem, Mom. A big problem. Of course, Peter is always in big problems. Every 3 months, there is a new big problem. The last one was 2 months ago when he crashed the BMW I bought him into a house because he was driving drunk. $15,000 so the owner would not sue him. What did you do now, Peter? No, it is not what you think. This time is different. It is just that I heard him lighting a cigarette. The sound of the lighter, the deep inhalation. My son smoking while his mother is hospitalized. I owe money, Mom. A lot of money. The casino again. It is not just the casino. It is that I borrowed to pay off the casino stuff, and now those guys, Mom, they are dangerous. They gave me until Monday. If I do not pay them Monday, today was Thursday. My son had 4 days before some criminals came for him, and me here freshly operated on being his only salvation as always. How much I asked, although it did not matter anymore. Nothing mattered anymore. $100,000, Mom. I know it is a lot, but I swear that this time what, Peter? This time you are going to change. This time you are going to quit gambling. This time you are going to be a father to your children. Silence. Only the sound of another drag of the cigarette. Do not do this to me, Mom. Not now. I am desperate. If you do not help me, I do not know what I am going to do. Maybe it is better if they kill me. Anyway, I am a disappointment, right? The failed son of the great Catherine Hope, the emotional blackmail, the veiled threat of suicide. The same tactics as always, and me as always about to give in, about to say, yes, son, I will help you, about to continue being the same idiot as always. But then something happened. I do not know if it was the pain of the surgery or the accumulated tiredness of years or the loneliness of this hospital room. But suddenly, I saw everything with a clarity that scared me. I saw the pattern. I saw the manipulation. I saw how my children had perfected the art of squeezing me emotionally until I gave in financially. And in that moment, in that precise instant, while Peter kept talking about his debts and his fears, I made the most important decision of my life. I was going to do something radical, something they would never expect. Something that was going to teach them once and for all who their mother really is. Peter the First interrupted him. I am going to help you. Really, Mom? Oh, I knew I could count on you. You are the best, but not now. Give me a few days. I need to arrange some matters. A few days, Mom. I told you I only have until Monday. I know, trust me. On Monday, you will have the money. I hung up before he could say anything else. My mind was already working, planning, calculating. I called my lawyer, Sophie Duran, the only person I trust completely, the one who helped me build my hotel empire, the one who knows every dollar I have, every property, every investment. Catherine, are you okay? I saw your message about the surgery. Sophie, I need you to come to the hospital now and bring Ralph. Ralph was my personal accountant. Did something happen? Are you okay? I am perfect, but I need to do something big, and I need your help. 2 hours later, Sophie and Ralph were in my hospital room with their laptops and documents listening to me explain my plan. The faces they made when I told them what I wanted to do were worth all these years of suffering. Catherine said, Sophie, are you sure this is it is very extreme? Extreme, I laughed, and it hurt, but it was worth it. Do you know what is extreme? that my 3 children have not come to see me at the hospital except to ask me for money. That is extreme. The plan was simple, but devastating. I was going to pretend I had lost all my money, everything, every dollar. A supposed financial fraud, an accountant who fled with everything investments that collapsed. A credible story well put together, impossible to verify quickly. I need you to freeze my accounts temporarily, I told Ralph. Make it look real. If anyone investigates, let them see empty accounts. I can make it look like there were massive transfers to offshore accounts. Suspicious movements, all reversible, of course, but it will take days to verify that it is false. Perfect. And Sophie, I need you to prepare documents. Fake lawsuits liens everything that makes it look like I am in total ruin. And what do you hope to achieve with this? Sophie asked. I looked at her directly. I want to see who my children really are. I want to see what happens when the money source dries up. I want to see if any just one offers me help. $1, a plate of food, a "how are you, Mom," without expecting anything in return. Sophie and Ralph looked at each other. I saw compassion in their eyes. They knew they had seen for years how my children treated me. They had processed the checks, the transfers, the endless payments. When do you want to start? Ralph asked. Right now, as soon as I leave the hospital tomorrow, the show will begin. That night, while we prepared all the details, I felt something I had not felt in years. Power. Control. For the first time in decades, I held the reins. I decided. I acted. My children had played with me for years. Now it was my turn to move the pieces, and I was about to checkmate them. On Friday morning, while I was being discharged, I sent the same message to my 3 children. Children, I need to see you urgently. I lost all the money, everything. I need your help. Please, I need $5,000 to pay the hospital. It is urgent. Your mother who loves you. Sending that message was like dropping a bomb. Now I just had to wait to see where the debris fell. I left the hospital in a taxi, not in my Mercedes. I paid in cash, not with my American Express Platinum. I went to a modest hotel, not to my mansion in the hills. The experiment had begun, and what I was about to discover would change my life forever. The first message arrived in 15 minutes. Richard, Mom, is this a joke? It is not funny. I am in an important meeting. I answered him with a trembling voice recording an audio. It is not a joke, son. The company's main accountant, Martinez, the one you met, took everything. He made fake transfers. He signed documents in my name. Everything is gone. The accounts are frozen, the hotel's seized. I do not even have enough to pay the hospital. Silence. 2 blue checks. He read it. 5 minutes passed. 10, 20. Then he wrote, "It cannot be. Everything. How were you so careless, Mom? How did you not notice? Not an 'Are you okay?' Not an 'I am on my way.' Not a 'Do not worry, I will help you.'" His first reaction was to blame me. "Richard, I need the $5,000 for the hospital. Please, son. I know it is a lot to ask, but I will pay you back as soon as I recover something." Typing, that damn typing, which lasted 3 eternal minutes. "Mom, I do not have that money. You know I have everything invested. Besides, Danielle controls the finances." "I cannot. I am sorry." Danielle controls the finances. The same guy who 2 days ago was asking me for $50,000 for Dubai without consulting his wife. Now he cannot give me $5,000 because Danielle controls everything, and the $50,000 you ask me for Dubai, that is different. It was an investment. This is Mom. I cannot get involved in your financial problems. I have a family to support. After having given him more than $5 million in his life, now my problems were only mine. But Richard, I am your mother. I am practically on the street. His answer was worse than a slap. "Look, Mom, we all make mistakes. You trusted the wrong person. Now you have to accept the consequences. Maybe you can sell something I do not know your jewelry, or look for a job. There are people your age who work. It is not my responsibility. It is not my responsibility. My son, the one I gave birth to, the one I nursed, the one I took care of with a fever for entire nights, was telling me that I was not his responsibility. Besides, he continued, if you really lost everything, how do I know the $5,000 goes to the hospital and not to something else? Forgive me for distrusting. But all this is very suspicious. He was accusing me. My own son was accusing me of being a liar, a scammer. Tears ran down my face, but this time they were tears of rage, not sadness. Lauren was next. I called her directly. She answered on the fourth ring. Mom, I am at the salon. What is happening? Lauren, did you receive my message? Oh, yes. What is that about you losing money I do not understand? I explained everything to her, every detail, sobbing. My best performance. Let's see. She interrupted me. Are you telling me you do not have money? Nothing and my kids' tuition, the house, my allowance. Her allowance. She calls the $10,000 a month I have deposited for her for 5 years an allowance. Lauren, I have nothing. I need your help. Just $5,000 for the hospital. She laughed. My daughter laughed. Me. Give money to you, Mom. Please, I do not work. You know that. Everything I have is what you give me. Where do you want me to get $5,000 from? But the penthouse, you wanted to buy the $2 million. That was with your money, obviously. Mom, do not be ridiculous. I do not have money. Well, Andrew says it is your problem that everyone should solve their own issues. You told Andrew. Of course, he is my husband, and he says it is probably your fault for not having better control, that a real businesswoman does not lose everything like that. He is right, a real businesswoman. My daughter, who has never signed a check that is not for spending, was giving me business lessons. Lauren, I am your mother, and I am your daughter, not your bank. Besides Mom being honest, you were always very trusting, very foolish with money. You gave it away to anyone. It was a matter of time before someone scammed you. I gave it away to anyone. Yes, to her brothers, to my family. I cannot believe you are telling me this, Lauren. Oh, do not play the victim. Look, I have to go. My dye is going to drip. Good luck with everything. Oh, and Mom, do not ask me for money again. It is uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. You put me in a horrible position with Andrew. She hung up. Peter was the last one. When I told him everything, his answer was immediate. And my money. The $100,000 for Monday. Peter, did you not listen? I have nothing. Nothing. You are going to kill me, Mom. Literally. Those guys are going to kill me. Peter, help me with the hospital at least. Help you. Are you crazy? I need help. I am the one who is going to die. Son, please do not call me son. A mother does not do this to her son. You promised me the money. You promised me. You are a liar. Surely you have the money hidden. Surely it is another one of your tricks to control us. My tricks. Yes, you have always been manipulative, using money to keep us tied down. Well, you know what? I am glad you lost everything. Karma. That is what it is. Karma. Karma. My son, addicted to gambling, who has lived off my money for 38 years, was talking to me about karma. If they kill me, he continued, it will be your fault. Your blood on your hands. I hope you can live with that. And he hung up. I sat in that cheap hotel room with my phone in my hand, looking at the peeling wall. In less than an hour, my 3 children had shown me their true faces. The masks had fallen off. Richard blocked me on WhatsApp within 2 hours. Lauren blocked me on Instagram and Facebook that same night. Peter sent me one last message. To me, you are dead. Sophie called me that night. How are you destroyed? I told her honestly. But free. For the first time in my life, free. Do you want to stop the experiment? No. This is just beginning. I want to see how far they go, and they went far. Further than I ever imagined. 1 week. I gave them a full week to come to their senses, so that just one of them would knock on my door and say, Mom, I do not have money, but I am here. 7 days. 168 hours. 10,080 minutes waiting for some humanity from the people I brought into the world. Do you know what I received in that week of hell? Richard sent me a message on Tuesday. Mom, I consulted with my lawyer. I am not legally responsible for your debts. Do not look for me anymore. Lauren told the whole family that I had been irresponsible, that I had lost everything for being stupid. My own sister called to scold me. Catherine Lauren told me, "How could you be so careless, poor girl? Now what is she going to do without your help, Peter?" Peter was the worst. He posted on Facebook, "Some people are born to give lessons on what not to do with your life. Thanks for teaching me how not to run a business, how not to trust the wrong people, and how not to end up. My grandchildren, my adored grandchildren, disappeared as if I had never existed. Not a message, not a call. Their parents told them that Grandma no longer had money, and suddenly I no longer existed for them. But there was something beautiful in that week of hell. People I never expected appeared. Mrs. Higgins, the lady who sells cookies outside my hotel, called me. Mrs. Hope, I heard. I do not have much, but if you need it, my house is your house. Michael, the gardener, who worked for me for 20 years, showed up at the cheap hotel where I was staying with a grocery bag. It is not much, boss, but my wife sent this food. And look, here are $500. It is what we have saved, but you need it more." I cried with those $500 in my hand more than I cried when my children abandoned me, because those $500 were worth more than the millions I gave to my emotional vampires. On Friday, exactly 1 week after my experiment, I sent a message to my 3 children. Urgent family meeting. Sunday, 5 p.m. at my house in the hills. It is about the inheritance. If you do not come, you lose all rights. Confirm attendance. The responses were immediate. Richard, inheritance. What inheritance? I thought you had nothing. Lauren, are you serious? What is this about Peter? Now what? Just come, it is important. On Sunday, they arrived on time. For the first time in years, the 3 arrived on time. Money has that magical power to improve punctuality. I made them wait in the living room while I finished getting ready. I put on my best dress, the black Chanel one I bought when I turned 60. I did my makeup carefully. I put on my diamonds. When I walked down the stairs, I saw their faces of confusion. Mom Lauren was the first to speak. "Where did you get that?" "How sit down," I told them with a voice they did not recognize. It was no longer the pleading voice of the needy mother. It was the voice of Catherine Hope, the businesswoman, the one who negotiated with sharks and won. I sat in front of them. Sophie and Ralph walked in with folders, tablets, and a laptop connected to the 85-inch television that Richard convinced me to buy last year. "What is this?" Richard asked. "Who are they?" "Silence," I said, and they shut up. For the first time in their adult lives, the 3 of them shut up when I gave an order. A week ago, I told you I had lost all my money. It was a lie. The silence was deadly. I saw how their faces went through all the emotions: confusion, hope, anger, fear. A lie. Peter was the first to react. "You lied to us." "Yes, I lied to you, like you have lied to me for years. The difference is that my lie had a purpose. To see who you really are." "This is ridiculous," said Richard, standing up. "I do not have time for your games, Mom." "Sit down," I ordered, and Ralph pressed play on the laptop. On the screen appeared the recording of my call with Richard. His voice filled the room. "It is not my responsibility. Maybe you can look for a job." His face turned pale. "You recorded me." "You recorded me. I recorded everyone. Every call, every message, everything is here." I put the WhatsApp messages on the screen. Lauren's appeared first. "I am not your bank. You were always very stupid with money." Lauren started to cry, but they were not tears of regret. They were tears of rage for having been discovered. Then came Peter. "To me, you are dead. Karma. I hope you can live with my death on your conscience." "This is illegal," Matt screamed. "You cannot record us without consent." "I am going to sue you." Ashley spoke for the first time. "In this state, it is a one-party consent law. Recording conversations you are part of is perfectly legal. I said calmly. Everything Mrs. Miller did is completely within the law, Sophia added. What is all of this for? Ashley asked, her voice trembling. To humiliate us, to make us feel bad? No, I replied. It is to hold up a mirror so you can see what you have become. Parasites. The three of you. You cannot talk to us like that, Rick said, stepping forward. We are your children. My children. I scoffed. My children died years ago. I do not know who you people are. You are strangers who share my blood but not my heart. I stood up and walked toward the bay window. Outside the garden I designed myself was glowing in the afternoon sun. Do you know how many times I was alone in the hospital? I asked, without turning around. 7 times. Do you know how many times you came to see me without asking for money? 0. Do you know how much I have given you in total between the three of you? I nodded toward Ralph, my assistant, who projected a spreadsheet onto the large screen. $1,457,000. That is without counting inflation, without counting the emotional costs, without counting the tears. The number glowed on the screen like a prison sentence. That money. I continued turning to face them. I earned it. With my own hands, with my sweat, with my sleepless nights, selling newspapers on the street corner when I was 5 years old, cleaning houses when I was 12, building an empire from scratch while you 3 slept in silk sheets. Mom, Rick tried his best negotiator voice. I understand that you are upset. Maybe we did not react well, but it was the shock. Do you understand? We got scared. You got scared, I repeated. Yes, you got scared of losing your personal ATM. You were not scared of losing your mother. Because to you, I was never a mother. I was a bank account with legs. Matt stood up violently. So what do you want? An apology. Fine. I am sorry. Okay. Happy now. Give me my money by Monday or they are going to kill me. I stared right into his eyes. There is no money for you, Matt. Not for Monday, not forever. What? It is over. The bank of Mom is permanently closed. Ashley stopped crying abruptly. You cannot do that. We have rights. It is our inheritance. Inheritance? I laughed. An inheritance is earned, Ashley. With love, with respect, with presence. Not with lawsuits and blackmail. Sophia opened a leather binder. Mrs. Miller has decided to completely restructure her estate. And then I dropped the bomb I had been preparing all week. Sophia took out the documents and placed them on the glass table. The sound of the papers landing was like a judge's gavel handing down a sentence. Starting tomorrow, I began savoring every word. 70% of my fortune, including the 5 hotels, the properties in the Hamptons, Miami, and Aspen, and all stock investments will be transferred to the Carol Hope Foundation. Foundation, Rick went pale. What foundation? The foundation I am going to create to help female entrepreneurs with no resources. Women who, like me 40 years ago, have dreams but no capital. Women who did not have vampire children sucking every dime out of them. You cannot do that, Ashley screamed. It is our money. Yours. I walked up to her. How many hours did you work for that money, Ashley? How many nights did you go without sleep? How many rude customers did you tolerate before you could humiliate people with your American Express card? Silence. The remaining 30%, I continued, will be available but with conditions. I saw their eyes light up. 30% of my fortune was still millions, many millions. What conditions? Rick asked, already calculating the math in his head. Ralph projected the rules on the screen. Conditions to access. Inheritance demonstrate economic self-sufficiency for 24 consecutive months. Do not request or receive money loans or gifts from Carol Miller. Maintain a legal and verifiable job with proof of income. Pass quarterly psychological evaluations. For Matt, this includes drug testing. Complete 500 hours of community service at the foundation. Write a handwritten letter every month to your mother without mentioning money or financial needs. This is insanity, Matt said. You cannot put conditions on us like we are children. You are not children. That is exactly why the conditions are for adults, functional adults. If you can support yourselves for 2 years, you will prove that you deserve to inherit what I built. And if we do not comply, Ashley asked, then that 30% also goes to the foundation. Everything goes to the foundation. 2 years, Rick shouted. You expect me to live off my salary for 2 years? I have expenses. I have commitments. The kids' private school tuition. Danielle works, doesn't she? I asked. Oh, no, wait. Danielle stopped working when she married you because the man must provide for the home. Ironic, isn't it? The man who provides for the home with his mother's money. I do not know how to work, Ashley whined. I have never worked. You never taught me. I never taught you I paid for 6 college degrees. 6. Business law, design, marketing, psychology, and culinary arts. You did not finish a single one because it was not your passion. Your passion was spending. Well, now you are going to learn a new passion. Survival. Matt slammed his fist on the table. They are going to kill me on Monday, don't you understand? Kill me. Then you better start negotiating with them, or go to the police, or for the first time in your life, face the consequences of your actions. You are a monster, he told me. What kind of mother lets her son die? What kind of son tells his mother you are dead to me when she needs him the most? Sophia intervened. There is more. She projected another document. Mrs. Miller has decided to make some immediate donations. $50,000 to the Hope House Orphanage, $25,000 to the St. Joseph Senior Center, where they care for elderly people abandoned by their families. She paused deliberately on that last part, and $100,000 for college scholarships for underprivileged youth. That is our money you are giving away, Ashley yelled. No, it is my money that I earned, and I can give it to whoever I damn well please, preferably to people who deserve it and will appreciate it. And what about us? Rick asked. Do your children deserve nothing? You deserve the opportunity to prove you are something more than leeches. 2 years, that is all I ask. 2 years of being normal, hard-working, self-sufficient people. I am not going to beg, Rick said, standing up. I will not humiliate myself for money. Perfect, then don't. The door is open. But he did not move. None of them moved. There is something else, I said. And this was my final card. During these 2 years, I will be watching every move, every decision. And maybe, just maybe, if I see real change, if I see you becoming the people I hoped you would be, I might reconsider the percentages. It was a lie. I was not going to reconsider anything, but they needed hope. Hope would make them try, at least. And you, Ashley asked with venom, what are you going to do while we suffer? I am going to live. For the first time in 40 years, I am going to live for myself. I am going to travel with my money. I am going to eat in restaurants without thinking if you would like it. I am going to buy myself things without feeling guilty for not buying things for you too. I am going to be free. This is not going to stay like this, Rick threatened. We are going to fight this legally. Sophia smiled. You can try, but Mrs. Miller is of sound mind. We have psychological, psychiatric, and neurological evaluations proving it. Furthermore, everything is recorded. This conversation is also being recorded. Every threat, every insult is documented. The 3 of them looked at each other. For the first time in their lives, they had no exit. There was no manipulation that would work. There was no blackmail to apply. There was no guilt button to press. You can leave, I told them, or you can stay for dinner. I made my pot roast the one you liked as kids. Maybe it is the last time we eat together as a family, or maybe it is the first time we eat together without money sitting at the table as an invisible guest. Matt was the first to leave. He slammed the door so hard it shook the whole house. "You are going to pay for this!" he screamed from the doorway. "You will regret this when I am dead!" Ashley followed him, crying theatrically. "I have no mother. My mother died today." Rick was the last. He stood in front of me and looked at me with a hatred I had never seen in his eyes. "All my life I worked to earn your love. Everything I did was so you would be proud. And this is how you pay me back. No, Rick. All your life you worked to earn my money. The love was always there for free, but you never wanted it because it had no cash value." He left without saying another word. I was left alone in my enormous house with Sophia and Ralph. The pot roast went cold on the stove. The table set for 5 people stared at me with its empty chairs. "Are you okay?" Sophia asked me. "I am perfect," I replied. And for the first time, it was true. That night, I slept like I had not slept in years, without the weight of 3 emotional parasites sucking away my peace. The war had begun, and I had all the weapons. The next 3 days were hell unleashed. It started Monday at 6 in the morning. My phone rang incessantly. It was Matt, drunk or high. I could not tell the difference. "Mom, Mom." He was crying like when he was 5 years old and fell off his bicycle. "They beat me up, Mom. The guys from the casino. They broke 2 of my fingers. Look, I am sending you a photo." The photo arrived, his fingers twisted at impossible angles. My mother's heart squeezed tight, but my brain already knew his tricks. I called Sophia immediately. "Investigate this." 2 hours later, she confirmed what I suspected. "Matt is in the hospital, yes, but the doctors say he did it to himself. He smashed his hand with a hammer. The wounds are consistent with self-inflicted injury." My own son had broken his fingers to manipulate me. Tuesday was Ashley's turn. She appeared at my house at 3 in the afternoon with my 3 granddaughters. The girls she almost never brought to see me were now at my door in their uniforms from the most expensive private school in the city. "Girls, tell your grandmother what will happen if she does not help us." The oldest, Sophie, 12 years old, looked at me with rehearsed tears. "Grandma, we are going to have to leave our school. Mom says we are going to go to public school with the poor people." With the poor people. My 12-year-old granddaughter had already learned her mother's classism. "And we won't have a house," added the middle one, Regina. "We are going to live on the street. Mom says it is your fault." Ashley had trained her daughters for this moment. She had turned them into her little soap opera actresses. Ashley, using your daughters as a shield, that is the lowest thing you have ever done. "Low, low," she shrieked. "Low is leaving your granddaughters on the street. Look at them, Mom, look at them. Are you going to let them suffer for your pride?" The youngest, Camila, 7 years old, walked up to me. "Grandma, do you not love us anymore?" That one did hurt. I knelt in front of her. "I will always love you, my sweetheart, but your mommy needs to learn to take care of you by herself." "Monster," Ashley screamed, pulling the girls away. "You are a monster, girls. Take a good look at your grandmother, the woman who prefers her money over her family." They left, but not before Ashley said loudly enough for the neighbors to hear, "Abandoning her granddaughters." What kind of grandmother does that Wednesday? Rick arrived with heavy artillery, a lawyer and a psychiatrist. "Mom, let me introduce you to Dr. Ramsey, a psychiatrist, and Mr. O'Neill, my attorney. We came to talk about your mental state." I let them in. After all, Sophia and Ralph were already with me waiting for them. "Mrs. Miller," the psychiatrist began, "your son is worried about your recent decisions. Drastic personality changes, erratic financial decisions, paranoia. These could be signs of senile dementia." I laughed. Dementia? For not wanting to keep supporting 40-year-old parasites. The term parasites to refer to her children shows irrational hostility, the doctor noted on his pad. Irrational. Let me show you my bank statements from the last 20 years, and you tell me if it is irrational. The lawyer intervened. Mrs. Miller, if you cooperate, we can reach an agreement. Rick is willing to manage your finances to protect you from bad decisions. Protect me, Rick. The man who has bankrupted 5 businesses. The man who asked me for $50,000 while I was in the hospital. That proves his point, Rick said. A sane person does not record her children. A sane person does not conduct cruel experiments. Sophia pulled out a folder. Here are Mrs. Miller's psychiatric evaluations. 3 different psychiatrists, including the chief of psychiatry at Angels Memorial Hospital, all confirm perfect mental health. Those can be bought, the lawyer said, like you tried to buy Dr. Ramsey. Ralph pulled out his phone. I have the recording right here of Rick offering Dr. Ramsey $10,000 for a dementia diagnosis. Dr. Ramsey went pale. This is a misunderstanding. No, I said, standing up. The only misunderstanding here is that Rick thinks I am an idiot. Doctor, you can leave. And consider this, you are recorded attempting to diagnose me without a real evaluation. The medical board will be very interested. The doctor practically ran out. The lawyer tried one last move. We can make this very public. The scandal, the hotels, your reputation. Do it, I challenged him. I will also make it public. I have recordings, messages, evidence of years of financial abuse. Who do you think will look worse? The successful businesswoman setting boundaries, or the 40-year-old moochers trying to declare her insane to steal from her? They left defeated, but Rick turned at the door. This is not over. Thursday was the day of the master stroke, the one I never saw coming. I was in my garden drinking tea when I heard the voice that melted my heart. Grandma Carol. It was Danny Rick's oldest son, my 16-year-old grandson, the only one of all my grandkids who actually sought me out, who called me without his parents forcing him. Danny, honey, what are you doing here? Shouldn't you be at school? He sat next to me, and I saw that he had been crying. Grandma, I came to apologize. Apologize for what my boy, for my dad, for my mom, for how they treat you. I have always seen it, Grandma. I have always known they only look for you for money. I was speechless. This boy, this beautiful boy, had seen everything. But Grandma, he continued, and that is when I felt the knife. Dad says if you don't help him, I am going to have to quit the swim team, and I was already selected for nationals. It is my dream, Grandma. The 2028 Olympics. There it was. Rick had sent his son. He had used the only thing he knew would break me. Danny's genuine love. Did your dad send you? Danny lowered his head. He told me to tell you about swimming, but Grandma, it is true. And it is also true that I love you, not like them. I really do love you. I hugged my grandson while he cried. He was crying from shame because Rick had profaned the only pure thing left, this boy's love. Danny, sweetheart, your dad has to learn to support you to pay for your swimming with his work. He doesn't earn enough, Grandma. He has never earned enough. The truth from the mouth of a child. I promise you something. I told him, if your dad fulfills the conditions if he works for 2 years for real, I will personally pay for your training for the Olympics. But he has to earn it. Danny hugged me. I understand, Grandma, and when I am older and win medals, it will be for you, not for him. He left, and I was devastated. Rick had played his dirtiest card. He had used his own son. That night, the 3 of them appeared together at my house, united for the first time in years, but united to attack me. Last chance, Rick said. Do you cancel these ridiculous conditions or what? Or do we tell everyone you went crazy? Your hotel employees, your partners, everyone. We have evidence, added Ashley. The messages where you say you lost everything, your own voice lying. We can make you look senile, And I can testify that you abandoned me knowing they were going to kill me," Matt added. "Attempted murder by omission." I looked at the three of them, my children. The people I loved most in the world turned into my executioners. "Do it," I told them with a calmness that surprised even me. "Do it all. Destroy my reputation. Destroy me publicly. But know this, the day you do all the money, everything goes automatically to the foundation. It is in my will. If I die, if I am declared incapacitated, if there is a public scandal that defames me, automatic activation of total donation." "You are lying," Matt said. Sophia, who had been listening from the other room, walked in with the documents. "Notarized yesterday. Irreversible. Any attempt to attack Mrs. Miller results in total loss of inheritance. Checkmate." They looked at each other like cornered wolves. For the first time in their lives, they had no power over me. And then something happened that I never expected. They left my house like beaten dogs, but I knew it wasn't the end. With them, it was never the end. I poured myself a tequila, the good stuff, the one I saved for special occasions, and sat in my study to think about everything that had happened. That was when the doorbell rang. It was 10 at night. Nobody visited at that hour. On the intercom screen, I saw a face that stopped my heart. It was the nurse from the hospital, the young woman with tired but kind eyes, who had taken care of me during my recovery. "Mrs. Miller, I am Anne, the nurse from St. Angel Hospital. I need to talk to you. It is urgent." I let her in. She was still wearing her scrubs as if she had run out of the hospital. In her hands, she held a manila folder that was shaking. "Forgive me for coming so late," she said, sitting on the edge of the armchair as if she were afraid to dirty it. "But I couldn't wait any longer. I've been trying to decide whether to come or not for a week." "Did something happen at the hospital?" "Something with my file." Anne shook her head. Her eyes filled with tears. "It is not about the hospital, ma'am. It is about us." Us? My mind was not processing. What could I have to do with this girl beyond having been her patient? "I don't know how to say this," Anne continued, her hands trembling more. "I have been rehearsing this moment for 25 years since I learned the truth, but now that I am here, breathe, honey. Tell me what is wrong." Anne opened the folder and took out an old yellowing photograph. She extended it to me with a shaking hand. When I saw the photo, the world stopped. It was me. Me at 17 years old, pregnant, standing in front of my parents' house in the projects. A photo I thought was destroyed decades ago. A photo of my biggest secret. "Where did you get this?" My voice was barely a whisper. "My mother. Well, the woman who raised me. She gave it to me before she died 3 years ago. She told me everything." "No, it couldn't be. That baby. That girl I had to give up because my parents threatened to throw me on the street. The girl I gave to a distant cousin from the Midwest because a single mother was a disgrace." "You are—" I couldn't say it. "I am Anne Hope Gutierrez," she said. "But my real name, the one you gave me before handing me over, was Hope. Just Hope, like your middle name." My daughter. The daughter I mourned for years. The daughter I searched for when I had money but never found because the cousin had moved to the United States. The daughter I thought lost forever. But how? When? 5 years ago, I hired a private investigator. When the lady who raised me told me the truth before dying I needed to know. The detective found you. Carol Hope Miller, hotel entrepreneur, the woman who had been my teenage mother. Tears were running down my face uncontrollably. "Why didn't you look for me sooner?" "I have been watching you for years, ma'am. I would go to your hotels. I saw you from afar. I saw how you were with your other children. I saw how they treated you. I saw how they took money from you. And I decided I didn't want to be one more. I didn't want you to think I was another one coming for your money. But in the hospital, I didn't know it was you until I saw your full file. Carol Hope Miller, born in the city. The date matched. Everything matched. And there I was, taking care of my biological mother while her other children—" She fell silent. She didn't need to finish the sentence. "Why now?" I asked. "Why come now?" "Because I saw what they did to you. I heard your son, Rick, when he came. I heard everything. And then this week, a colleague from the hospital told me what is happening. The will, the foundation, the conditions for your children. And I thought maybe you needed to know that not all your children are the same." I stood up and sat next to her. For the first time, I looked at her closely. She had my eyes, my nose, the chin of her father, that boy, who abandoned me when he found out about the pregnancy. "What do you want from me, Anne?" "Nothing," she said immediately. "Nothing. I am not coming for money. I am not coming for inheritance. I am coming because—" She swallowed hard. "Because I have spent my whole life wanting to meet my real mother. And when I saw her in that hospital alone, abandoned, I took care of you like I would have wanted to take care of you always. But I abandoned you. No, you gave me up for adoption because you had no choice. You were 17. Your parents threatened you. Society would have destroyed you. I know everything. The lady who raised me told me everything. How you cried when you handed me over. How you begged her to take care of me. How you sent money when you could, even if it was little. I sent money." Anne took out another paper, a list of money orders, small amounts, $50 here, $100 there, dated over years. "You stopped sending when I was 5. The lady told me that was when we moved to the States and you lost contact. 5 years. The age Matt was when my husband died and I was left in ruins, when I didn't even have enough to eat, much less to send. Anne, Ma'am? Mom." The word came out like a sigh. "I don't come to complicate your life. I just wanted you to know I existed, that I am a nurse, that I graduated with honors, that I have a 10-year-old daughter named Carol like you. I have a granddaughter." Anne took out her cell phone and showed me a photo of a beautiful, smiling girl with the same rebellious hair I had at her age. "Her name is Carol Sophia. She is brilliant. She wants to be a doctor." I cried like I hadn't cried in years, but these tears were different. They were tears of something I thought dead coming back to life. "Your husband?" I asked. "He died 3 years ago. Cancer. Since then, it is just the two of us." She paused. "That is why I understand what it is to be alone in a hospital. When he had surgery, I slept 60 days in those horrible chairs, alone with little Carol in my arms. My daughter had suffered the same as me, but she had been there for her family." Anne listened to me closely. I took her hands. "I don't know what I have done to deserve you, but you appeared exactly when I needed you most. Not to ask me for anything, but to remind me that not all my children are vampires." "You have other children. I don't want to—" "I have 3 strangers who share my blood, and I have a daughter who took care of me without knowing who I was, who didn't look for me for money, who built her life alone with dignity. We hugged, a hug of 42 years of absence, a hug that healed wounds I thought were eternal. There is something else," Anne said, pulling away. "The detective I hired also found other things." "What things?" Anne took more papers out of her folder. "Your children, ma'am. Rick, Ashley, and Matt. The detective investigated everything when I was trying to understand what family I belonged to." She handed me the papers. What I read left me breathless. Rick had a mistress for 5 years. He had bought her a condo with a loan I co-signed without knowing. Ashley had been stealing from my hotel accounts for years, small amounts I never noticed. Matt didn't owe $2 million at the casino. He owed $8 million, and he had signed promissory notes putting my hotels as collateral, forging my signature. "Why didn't you use this before?" I asked her. "Because you were not my mother then. You were just a lady I watched from afar. But now that I know you, that I know you are a good person who is just too generous, I thought you should know the whole truth." The whole truth. My 3 children were not just parasites. They were criminals. Anne, I told her with a determination I didn't know I had. Would you like to meet your family? The real one. The one we are going to build from scratch. What do you mean? I mean, I have a foundation to run, and I need someone I can trust. Someone who understands what it is to fight from the bottom. Someone who doesn't see me as an ATM. But I am a nurse. I don't know about business. I was a newspaper girl. Look at me now. Everything is learned, honey. Everything is learned when you have heart and desire. That night, while Anne told me her life, her struggles, her triumphs, I understood the universe's plan. It had taken 3 children from me to return the only one who was worth it. The one I didn't raise, but who grew up perfect. The one life returned to me just when I needed her most. The next morning, I called Sophia, changed the will. Annie Hope Gutierrez and her daughter, Carol Sophia, will be the main beneficiaries of my personal estate. The hotels, the houses, everything. The foundation remains the same, but my personal assets have new heiresses. And your other children, let them earn their 2 years. If they make it, they will have what was promised. If not, Anne will know what to do with the empire I built. The bomb was about to explode because that very day, Rick, Ashley, and Matt would receive a legal notification that would change everything. The legal notification arrived at 9 in the morning on Tuesday. Sophia had warned me, "They are going to lose their minds, Carol. Be prepared." I didn't have to wait long. At 9:15, my phone exploded. Rick was the first. "Who the hell is Anne Hope Gutierrez?" Then Ashley. "A stranger. You are going to leave everything to a stranger." Matt simply sent audio messages screaming incoherencies about betrayal and madness. I let them scream into the void. I didn't answer a single message, but I did activate the security cameras in my house because I knew they would come like rabid animals. They arrived at 11, the 3 of them together with Danielle, Rick's wife, and Andrew, Ashley's husband. They were pounding on my door as if they wanted to knock it down. I made them wait 20 minutes before opening. When I finally opened the door, Anne was by my side. My recovered daughter, dressed in a tailored suit I had bought her the day before, looking like the dignified professional she was. "Who is this?" Ashley screamed, pointing at Anne like she was garbage. "I introduce you to Anne Hope Gutierrez, my daughter." The silence was absolute. You could hear the wind moving the leaves in the garden. "You what?" Rick was pale. "My daughter. My first daughter, the one I had at 17, and had to give up for adoption because the times were different and I was a scared child." "Lie," Matt screamed. "This is another one of your tricks." Anne spoke for the first time. "I have DNA tests if you need them, although I don't think it is necessary. Look at me closely. I have your mother's eyes." It was true. Anne was the living portrait of me when I was young, before life hardened me, before they squeezed me dry. "And that is why you are giving her our inheritance," Ashley spat, "to a bastard who appeared out of nowhere." "Watch how you talk to her," I warned. "Anne is worth more than the 3 of you combined. She took care of me in the hospital without knowing who I was. She became a nurse through her own effort. She raised her daughter alone after becoming a widow. She never asked me for a dime." "Of course she didn't ask," Rick yelled. "She was waiting for the perfect moment to keep everything." Anne laughed. A soft, almost sad laugh. "I didn't know she was my mother until a week ago. I took care of her because it was my job, because she was a lonely lady who reminded me of all the abandoned mothers I see every day at the hospital." "Convenient," Andrew said. "Very convenient that you appear right now." Sophia walked in with a box of documents. "Here is the entire file. Anne has known who Mrs. Miller was for 5 years. She never contacted her. She never asked for anything. Even when her husband was dying of cancer and she needed money for treatments, she didn't look for her." "Why am I not like you?" Anne said, looking directly at them. "I don't see my mother as a bank." "You are not our sister." Ashley screamed. "You are nothing." "You are right," Anne replied calmly. "I am not your sister. I was raised by another family, a poor but dignified family, a family that taught me to work, to fight, to not expect anyone to solve my life for me." I walked up to my 3 children. "Do you want to know the truth? Anne is not just my main heir. She is also going to be the executive director of the foundation. And when I die, she will decide if you completed your 2-year probation satisfactorily or not. She cannot decide about us," Matt yelled. "We don't know her." "Exactly," I replied. "You don't know her. You have no history with her. You cannot manipulate her with childhood memories or emotional blackmail. She is going to evaluate you objectively without feelings getting in the way." Rick approached Anne threateningly. "You don't know what you are getting into. We can make your life miserable." Anne didn't back down a single inch. More miserable than watching my husband die of cancer. More miserable than raising my daughter alone on a nurse's salary. More miserable than working 24-hour shifts to pay the rent. She stepped closer to Rick. "I am from the tough neighborhoods of Chicago, brother-in-law. I have seen things that you, in your privileged life, can't even imagine. I am not afraid of you." Rick stepped back. For the first time in his life, someone had put him in his place. "This isn't going to stay like this," Danielle threatened. "We are going to fight this legally. An illegitimate daughter cannot appear out of nowhere and keep everything." "Illegitimate daughter," I repeated. What an archaic term, so classist, so revealing of who you really are. Ralph took out more papers. "By the way, about fighting legally. We have evidence of your illegal activities here. Rick the condo for your mistress paid with laundered money. Ashley the embezzlement from the hotel accounts. Matt the forged signatures. If you make any legal move." Sophia continued, "This goes straight to the district attorney. 5 to 10 years in prison minimum." They were cornered. Totally cornered. "You have 2 options." I told them. "You accept the original conditions, work 2 years, earn your share of the 30%, and everyone is happy. Or you fight, go to jail, and not only lose the money, but your freedom." "You set a trap for us," Ashley said, crying. "Our whole life was a trap." "No, honey. Your whole life was an opportunity you wasted. Anne is the proof that you can get ahead without sucking anyone's blood. She is what you could have been if I hadn't spoiled you." Matt kicked a chair. "So now what? We have to beg this stranger." "You don't have to beg anyone," Anne said. "You just have to prove you can live like normal people. Work, pay your bills, be self-sufficient. If I could do it starting at 18, you can do it at 40. "It is different," Rick protested. "We have a lifestyle we cannot afford." "That is the problem," Anne completed. "You live in a fantasy financed by your mother." I looked at the 3 of them, my children raised in cotton wool, facing reality for the first time. And then I looked at Anne, my abandoned daughter, who became everything a mother could wish for. "The universe is fair," I told them. "It took away the opportunity to raise Anne, but it returned her to me, turned into gold. I raised you with everything, and you turned into lead." 2 years, Anne said firmly. "You have 2 years to prove you are worth something more than the money you have spent. I will be fair, but I won't be soft. Every month I will review your progress. Every month I will evaluate if you are really changing or just acting." "And if we make it?" Rick asked. "If you make it," I answered, "not only will you have your share of the money, you will have something more valuable. You will have my respect, and maybe, just maybe, you will have a sister worth knowing." They left, dragging their feet defeated. From the window, I watched them get into their luxury cars that they would soon have to sell. I watched their fantasy worlds collapse. Anne stood next to me. "Do you think they will make it?" "I don't know," I answered honestly, "but for the first time in their lives, they are going to have to try." That night, I had dinner with Anne and my granddaughter, Carol Sophia. A simple dinner tacos we bought at the corner, but it was the most real family dinner I had had in decades. The poetic justice was perfect. The daughter I abandoned became my salvation, and the children who had everything would have to learn to have nothing. 1 year. 365 days had passed since I gave the ultimatum to my children. While I drank my coffee on the balcony of my new house, smaller but fuller of life, I reviewed the monthly reports and prepared for me religiously. Rick, my firstborn, the one who swore he would never lower himself to work for others. Where is he now, a salesman at a used car dealership in the suburbs? At first, it was a disaster. The first month, he got fired from 3 places for his arrogance. "Do you know who I am?" he would tell customers. He was nobody anymore, just another salesman with a 3% commission. But something curious happened in the 6th month. Anne sent me a video. Rick attending to a young couple, patiently explaining financing options, without haughtiness, without arrogance. When he closed the sale, I saw something in his eyes I had never seen. Genuine pride. Not the inherited pride of being Carol Miller's son, but the pride of having earned something by himself. Danielle left him in the 3rd month. "I didn't marry a used car salesman," she told him. "She took the kids. Now Rick lives in a 2-bedroom apartment in a working-class neighborhood. Danny, my swimmer grandson, decided to stay with him. Dad needs me, Grandma," he told me when I visited him in secret. "For the first time, he really needs me, not just to manipulate you." Ashley, my princess, the one who had never worked a day in her life. The first few months were pathetic. She tried to be an influencer, sell herself as a life coach, anything that didn't require real work. Everything failed. Andrew abandoned her in the 2nd month. "Without money, you are nobody," he told her. He kept the house, which was in his name, and left her on the street with the girls. It was Matt, surprisingly, who helped her. My addict, broken, destroyed son got her a job at an elementary school as a teacher's aide. Ashley, who did speak perfect French thanks to the summers in Europe, I paid for, discovered something unexpected. She was good at teaching, very good. I saw her one day from my car leaving the public school where she works. She was wearing a simple dress from a discount store, not Saks Fifth Avenue. Her daughters, my granddaughters, no longer went to the elite school, but I saw something I had never seen before. The 3 of them were laughing for real, not those fake laughs for Instagram photos. They got on the subway, the 4 of them holding hands, and Ashley looked free. Matt, my lost baby, my addict, my impossible case. We put him in a rehab clinic for the first 3 months. Anne paid for it with her own money without telling me. "He is my brother," she told me when I found out. "Siblings help each other." He came out clean, for the first time in 10 years clean. He got a job as an Uber driver, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. One day, I got into his car disguised with dark glasses and a mask. He didn't recognize me. "First time in the city?" he asked politely. "I have lived here forever," I replied, changing my voice. During the ride, he told me his story. He spoke about his rich mother who abandoned him, about how he lost everything to gambling, about how he is trying to win back his children who don't want to see him. "But you know what, ma'am," he told me, looking at me in the rearview mirror. "For the first time in my life, I sleep peacefully, without debts, without lies. Just me and my honest work." I gave him 5 stars and a $100 tip. He broke down crying. "God bless you, ma'am. You don't know how much I needed this for rent." I got out of the car with my heart shattered and rebuilt at the same time. But not everything was rosy. I watched them from the shadows and saw their struggles. Rick crying in his car after a day with no sales. Ashley counting coins to buy milk. Matt resisting the temptation of the casino every time he drove past one. Anne kept me informed. Rick has paid his rent on time every month. Ashley hasn't borrowed a dime. Matt has been 8 months without betting. Sometimes I saw them at the grocery store. One day I ran into Ashley at the discount market. We both pretended not to see each other, but I followed her through the aisles. I saw her put back the expensive shampoo for a generic one. I saw her pull out coupons. I saw her doing math on her phone so she wouldn't go over budget. My daughter, who used to spend $2,000 in an afternoon of shopping, now counting every penny. Was it enough? Had they learned the lesson Anne organized a dinner a week ago? It is time for you to see them, she told me. It has been a year. They need to know you have been watching them. They arrived on time, the three of them. But how different they looked. Rick without his designer suit in a simple but clean shirt. Ashley without Botox gray hairs showing but with a genuine smile. Matt sober, thin, but healthy. They sat in front of me like children waiting for their grades. I have seen everything, I started. Every struggle, every fall, every small victory. Have you been spying on us? Rick asked, but without anger, almost with relief. I have been taking care of you from afar, like I should have done from the beginning, letting you grow. Ashley broke into tears. Mom, I am so sorry, not for the money. I don't give a damn about the money now. I am sorry for treating you how I treated you. I am sorry for not seeing the wonderful mother you are until it was almost too late. Matt took my hand. His hands weren't shaking anymore. Mom, I want you to know something. These months have been hell, but they have also been my salvation. For the first time, I know who I am without your money, and it turns out I am not that bad. Rick, my proud Rick, knelt in front of me. Forgive me, Mom. Forgive me for the lost years, for the wasted opportunities, for not seeing that your love was worth more than all the millions. I hugged them. All three of them. My imperfect, broken, but finally real children. There is 1 year left, I reminded them. 1 more year to complete the 2 years. It isn't about the money, Mom, Ashley said. It isn't about the money anymore. We know, added Matt. Maybe we don't deserve the inheritance, but we want to deserve something more important. Your forgiveness, your respect, your love without conditions. Anne walked in with my granddaughter, Carol Sophia. I think it is time you met your real sister. The dinner was awkward at first. 40 years of separation aren't erased in one night. But I saw genuine attempts. I saw Rick asking Anne about her work with true interest. I saw Ashley offering to babysit Carol Sophia when Anne had long shifts. I saw Matt promising to teach her how to drive when she turned 16. I don't know if they will complete the 2 years. I don't know if in the end they will deserve the inheritance. But I know something more important. They are learning to deserve life. Real life, not the golden fantasy I built for them. While I watched them talk, I remembered the Carol from 67 years ago. The girl from the poor neighborhood selling newspapers, dreaming of a better future. I gave my children everything material that I didn't have, but I took away their opportunity to fight to grow to be. Anne had taught me the most valuable lesson. Sometimes the greatest act of love is not giving everything, but knowing when to stop giving. Sometimes the true inheritance is not money, but the strength to earn it. 1 more year. Just 1 more year to know if my children will finally become the people they always could be. And here I am, watching from the shadows, waiting for the day they look for me, not out of need, but out of love. Because in the end, that is the only thing I ever wanted. To be loved for who I am, not for what I have. And maybe that day will finally come. The end. But this story, like life itself, never really ends. Because every day is a new opportunity to choose. Will we be someone else's vampires, or will we learn to fly with our own wings? The answer, my dears, is in each of us. If you made it this far with a broken heart, you are not alone. Write to me in the comments. I am Carol. If you are your family's ATM, forgive yourself, Mom. If this story opened your eyes, I woke up. If you have already started your change, subscribe now and hit the notification bell. Every week I bring stories that no one dares to tell. Stories that are a mirror, that are a scream, that are a hug. Respond below. Would you forgive your children, or would you let them learn the full lesson? I read all the comments. I respond to the ones that touch my soul. Hit like for all the Mother Carols of the world. Share this. Someone needs to wake up. Save this for later. To remember that setting boundaries is also love. Your mother is not eternal. Regret is.